The cameras flash, the whispers grow louder, and Atlanta's streets buzz with the kind of rumor that makes even the boldest fans stop scrolling. A shocking twist has erupted from the very heart of love and hip-hop, Atlanta, and it has everyone questioning everything they thought they knew about Kirk Frost, Rasheeda, Jasmine Washington, and yes, Yvonne Young Jock. At the center of this storm lies a secret that no one saw coming. A DNA swap, and the whispers claim that the baby everyone believed to be Kirk's might actually belong to Jock. Imagine the scene: a sealed envelope, a late-night phone call, and a slip of paper tucked into the wrong file. That one mistake has set off a chain of events so explosive that it threatens to split families apart and destroy reputations built over years of tears, apologies, and public betrayals. Fans are stunned, emotions ran high, and the Frost household has been left trembling under the weight of this revelation. Rasheeda, who has fought tooth and nail through years of Kirk scandals, now finds herself blindsided in the cruelest way possible by another woman's child who might not even be tied to her husband at all. But that's not all. Jasmine, once at the center of Kirk's most infamous cheating scandal, is caught in the crossfire again, accused of harboring a truth that could collapse everything. And young Jock, known for his wild antics and complicated love life, he's suddenly thrust into the spotlight as whispers grow that he may be the real father in this shocking saga. As the cast reels, friendships are tested, alliances shift, and long-buried tensions explode to the surface. What really happened in that clinic? Who swapped the DNA results? And why? This isn't just a scandal, it's a bombshell that rewrites the entire script of Atlanta's most dramatic family feud. Stay tuned, because what comes next will leave you breathless. The storm did not ease in the days that followed. In fact, it grew darker, louder, and impossible to ignore. Social media exploded as clips of Carly's dramatic outbursts spread like wildfire. Memes flooded Twitter. TikTok edits showed side-by-side photos of Jock and the baby. And hashtags like #DNA Chaos, #JOCSBaby, and #Frostlie trended for days. Even gossip sites that usually only dipped into love and hip-hop drama ran with the headlines, amplifying every angle of the scandal. Fans were stunned, emotions ran high, and the family was left divided, each side clinging to its own version of the truth. At home, Rasheeda was a storm in her own right. She had spent years swallowing her pride, trying to salvage dignity in the face of Kirk's betrayals. Now, the possibility that she had endured all that humiliation for a lie lit a fire inside her that could not be put out. "I feel like I've been robbed," she snapped one night, pacing across her living room while her friend Candy tried to calm her. "Do you understand what it's like to have the whole world laughing at you, calling you weak, when I didn't even need to go through this if the child wasn't his? That's years of my life I can't get back." Her voice cracked, and for a moment, the tough exterior melted into raw hurt. Candy sighed. "You need closure, girl. Don't wait for Kirk or anybody else to hand it to you. Get that baby tested again, your way." Meanwhile, Kirk felt the walls closing in. He had built his reputation on being the businessman, the one who kept control even when everything around him crumbled. But now, he was powerless. His credibility was shredded, his marriage was on life support, and his own kids looked at him with a mix of disappointment and confusion. "Dad, just tell us the truth," his son Kai asked one afternoon, his voice heavy with frustration. Kirk could only shake his head, the guilt weighing on him like chains. "I don't even know what the truth is anymore," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. Jasmine wasn't faring any better. Hounded by paparazzi and bashed in her comments section, she retreated into herself. Every call from Jock went unanswered, every text from Rasheeda deleted before she could even finish reading. She told a close friend, "I can't breathe. No matter what I say, I'm the villain. If it's Kirk's, I'm a homewrecker. If it's Jock's, I'm a liar. Either way, I lose." Yet, deep down, a flicker of fear gnawed at her. She remembered moments that suddenly made sense, timelines that overlapped. Jock's presence in places she hadn't questioned before. Could Carly actually be right? Jock, on the other hand, was caught between denial and dread. He laughed on radio interviews, brushing off the rumors with his trademark humor. But when the cameras turned off, his face hardened. Alone in his car one night, he whispered to himself, "What if they're right? What if that kid really is mine?" He replayed his history with Jasmine, searching for cracks, trying to stitch together a timeline that could either damn him or set him free. The drama only escalated when Mona Scott summoned the group to a private meeting. She knew the scandal was gold for television, but she also knew it threatened to tear apart the show itself. "We need answers," she said firmly, looking each of them in the eye. "The audience is already 10 steps ahead. If we don't get control of this story, it's going to destroy all of you." Her words carried weight, but they also sparked suspicion. Rasheeda shot her a glare. "You knew, didn't you? You knew there was something off and you let us bleed for ratings." Mona didn't flinch. "I didn't know about any swap. But I do know one thing, the truth has a way of coming out, whether you like it or not." The cast gathering turned into a battlefield. Rasheeda accused Jasmine of playing both sides. Jasmine accused Kirk of manipulating the narrative, and Jock defended himself with growing desperation. "If I was the father, don't you think I'd have known by now? Don't you think Jasmine would have told me?" Jock shouted, slamming his hand on the table. Jasmine's eyes welled up. "You think I wanted this? You think I wanted to be dragged into your mess?" She fired back. Kirk, unable to control his temper, finally snapped, "You ruined my life, Jasmine, and if Jock's the father, then you owe me more than an apology. You owe me everything." The tension reached a fever pitch when Carly once again stepped into the spotlight, recording the chaos on her phone. "This is what the fans live for," she said smugly. "Y'all fighting like gladiators while the world watches. But trust me, the truth ain't nowhere near done unraveling." She then dropped another nugget. "Word is, there's another envelope, one that never got delivered." The room went silent. "If that envelope surfaces, it's gonna tell you exactly who's lying and who's not." Whispers spread through the cast like wildfire. Who had this envelope? Why was it hidden? And what name would it reveal inside? The mystery deepened, leaving everyone on edge. Rasheeda clenched her fists. Jock stared at the floor. Jasmine buried her face in her hands, and Kirk's jaw tightened with rage. The family was fractured, the friendships poisoned, and the fans were more invested than ever. And just when it seemed the night couldn't get any darker, a voice from the corner spoke up. It was Scrappy, who had been quietly watching the drama unfold. "I'ma tell y'all like this," he said slowly, his tone cutting through the noise. "Secrets don't stay buried in this city. Whoever swapped them papers, whoever playing games, you better come clean. Because the truth ain't gonna wait much longer." His warning hung heavy in the air, like thunder before a storm, leaving everyone staring at each other with suspicion and fear. The scandal had only begun, and the fallout promised to be bigger than anyone could have imagined. The fallout from Scrappy's warning was immediate. The room, already heavy with tension, seemed to thicken with suspicion. No one spoke for several moments, and the silence was louder than any screaming match. Jock shifted uncomfortably in his seat, trying to mask the flicker of doubt in his eyes, while Rasheeda's stare burned into Jasmine like a blade. Kirk's chest heaved as though he were holding back years of rage, guilt, and confusion all at once. Every cast member present felt the weight of what Scrappy had said. Secrets did not stay buried in Atlanta, and this one was too massive, too explosive, to remain hidden forever. Rasheeda finally broke the silence. "I'm done sitting around waiting for y'all to play with my life like this is a game show," she said, her voice trembling but strong. "If there's another envelope, I'm gonna find it myself. And when I do, everybody's lies are coming to light." Her words carried a chilling finality, as if she had already decided that whatever the truth was, she was ready to face it head-on. Fans watching leaked clips of the scene online immediately flooded comment sections. Some applauded her strength, others pitied her pain, and many simply couldn't believe how deep the rabbit hole had gone. Jasmine tried to defend herself, though her voice cracked with every word. "Rasheeda, you think I wanted this? You think I'd drag myself through hell, let the world call me every name in the book, if I knew the baby wasn't Kirk's? I swear on everything, I believed him when he told me. I trusted the results just like you did." But the more she pleaded, the colder Rasheeda's expression became. The years of betrayal had built a wall that Jasmine's words could not break down. Jock suddenly slammed his hand on the table, his voice rising with frustration. "Man, all this finger-pointing don't change the fact that somebody's out here playing us all. Y'all acting like I'm some secret baby daddy when I don't even know what the hell's going on. But if my name is on that envelope, if this baby is mine, then somebody been lying to me too." The room gasped. For the first time, Jock admitted that the possibility haunted him, and fans latched onto that moment instantly. "He knows the baby looks like him," one fan tweeted. Jock's guilty face said it all. Another wrote, "He just admitted it without admitting it. This is Jock's kid, period." Meanwhile, Carly smirked, sipping her drink like she was watching the greatest show on earth. "Y'all don't even realize the street's already buzzing with who hid that envelope," she teased. "Word is, a nurse took some money, and it came from somebody right here in this circle." The accusation sent the group into chaos. Rasheeda demanded to know who would pay to bury the truth. Jasmine burst into tears, screaming that she didn't have that kind of money. Kirk looked away, his silence raising more suspicion than anything he could have said. Jock rubbed his forehead, clearly exhausted but also too defensive to be dismissed as innocent. Outside the cameras, the gossip only grew. Atlanta blogs ran wild with speculation, each one pushing a different theory. Some said Mona orchestrated the switch for ratings. Others believed Kirk paid to keep the baby pinned on him, because he thought Rasheeda might forgive him faster if the child was his rather than Jock's. And then there were whispers that Jasmine herself had been desperate to prove Kirk was the father, because it guaranteed her spot on the show, her storyline cemented. Each theory grew messier, uglier, and more believable as fans tore the cast apart online. Back in the Frost household, the pressure was unbearable. Rasheeda's trust in Kirk was at its breaking point, her patience gone. "You better pray that baby isn't Jock's," she snapped during a late-night argument. "Because if it is, and you sat here letting me take bullets for you when you knew something was off. I'm not just leaving you, I'm taking every piece of our life with me." Kirk tried to reach for her, but she pulled back, her eyes cold. "You've embarrassed me enough. I won't let you destroy me too." Jock, meanwhile, faced his own reckoning. His fiancée, Kendra, confronted him with fury. "So now I gotta sit here and wonder if you got a secret child with Jasmine. After everything, after the promises." Jock threw up his hands. "Kendra, I don't even know if it's true. She wasn't having it. That's the problem. Jock, you don't know because you can't keep track of your mess. And now I look like a fool standing by you while the world laughs." Their fight spilled onto social media as fans noticed Kendra unfollowed Jock and deleted several photos of them together. Blogs caught it immediately, fueling speculation that the engagement was crumbling under the weight of this scandal. Jasmine, isolated and desperate, reached out to her mother again. This time, her voice was barely a whisper. "Mama, what if I ruined everything? What if none of this would have happened if I had stayed quiet?" Her mother sighed deeply, her tone firm but weary. "Baby, you made your choices, and choices come with consequences. But if the truth is Jock's name on that paper, you better brace yourself, because it won't just be Rasheeda coming for you, it'll be Kendra, it'll be Jock, it'll be the whole city." The pressure mounted until Mona decided to act. She announced that production had arranged for an official retest, done privately, with no chance of tampering. The cast would be present, and the cameras would roll. The announcement sent shockwaves through the group. Rasheeda demanded it happen immediately. Jock hesitated but reluctantly agreed. Jasmine nodded tearfully, and Kirk looked as though the ground had given way beneath him. When the day of the test came, the air was thick with dread. Fans gathered outside the clinic, cameras ready, chanting and shouting as the cast arrived. "We want the truth," one group screamed. The clinic staff, overwhelmed by the attention, ushered the cast inside. The cameras caught every moment, the swabs, the signatures, the tears silently rolling down Jasmine's cheeks, the clenched fists of Rasheeda, Jock's nervous pacing, Kirk's stony silence. But just as the test was completed, an anonymous envelope was delivered to the set. The nurse handed it to Mona, her face pale. "This came for you," she said softly. The entire cast froze, eyes locked on the plain manila envelope. Mona held it up, her expression unreadable. "Looks like somebody wanted to make sure the truth came out, one way or another." Gasps echoed through the room. Rasheeda leaned forward, her voice sharp. "Open it right now." Jock muttered, "Man, this ain't real." Jasmine whispered, "Oh my God." Kirk clenched his jaw, silent but trembling. Mona placed the envelope on the table, the cameras zooming in. "If I open this, there's no turning back," she warned. Rasheeda slammed her hand on the table. "Do it. We've waited long enough." The tension was unbearable. The envelope sat there like a ticking time bomb, threatening to shatter everything. And just as Mona began to tear it open, the lights flickered, the cameras cut, and the scene ended in chaos. Fans watching the leaked footage were left screaming online. "What's in the envelope?" One comment read, "This is the biggest cliffhanger in love and hip-hop history," another declared. The world was on edge, waiting for the truth that could destroy families, end relationships, and rewrite everything they thought they knew. The secret of the DNA swap was no longer a rumor, it was a storm, and the first cracks of thunder had only just begun. The cameras returned with more intensity than ever before. Fans had spent days dissecting every freeze frame of Mona holding that envelope, speculating about what it might contain. Entire YouTube channels popped up overnight, dedicated to nothing but theories. Some argued Jock's name was inside, others insisted it was all a ruse to keep ratings high, and a few whispered that the envelope might reveal a much darker player in the scandal. By the time filming resumed, the air was electric. Every cast member carrying the weight of millions of eyes watching their every move. The envelope sat on the table like an unexploded bomb. Rasheeda leaned forward, her eyes blazing with fury and exhaustion. "We're not dragging this out anymore," she said firmly, her voice cutting through the nervous chatter. "Open it. Right now. I deserve to know. My family deserves to know. The fans deserve to know." Jasmine's breath quickened, her palms sweaty as she whispered to herself, "Please, God, no, not Jock." Jock, normally quick with a joke, sat stone-faced, his jaw tight. Kirk's hands fidgeted against the table. A man who had built his life on controlling chaos, now powerless to stop it. Mona slid a manicured nail under the seal, the camera zooming in. The sound of paper tearing echoing through the tense silence. She unfolded the document slowly, her eyes scanning the page, her expression unreadable. Then, with the weight of the room crushing down, she read aloud, "Paternity test results. Probability of paternity for Mr. Kirk Frost, 0%. Gasps exploded. Rasheeda clutched her chest, her mouth dropping open in shock. Jasmine's face crumbled as though the ground had vanished beneath her. Jock jumped up from his seat, his voice shaking. "Man, nah, y'all lying, this ain't real." Kirk slammed his fist on the table, his voice raw with rage. "So all these years, I carried this shame, and it wasn't even mine." His voice cracked, fury and heartbreak mixing into something unbearable. The room erupted into chaos. Rasheeda's scream cut through the noise. "I suffered for nothing. I stood by you, Kirk, while the world laughed at me. And it wasn't even your child." She turned to Jasmine, her eyes wild with fury. "You dragged me through hell for a lie. You let me believe." Her voice broke as tears spilled down her cheeks. Jasmine tried to speak, her words tumbling out through sobs. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. They told me it was you. I trusted them." Jock, still reeling, shouted across the table, "So if it ain't Kirk, then who is it?" His voice was almost pleading, as though he already knew the answer but couldn't bring himself to accept it. Carly, always ready to stir the pot, leaned back in her chair with a smirk. "Baby, you don't gotta look too far. That baby's smile looked just like yours." The cast gasped again as Jock snapped, "Shut up, Carly." But his anger only fueled the speculation. Fans watching the episode exploded online. Screenshots of Jock's reaction flooded timelines with captions like, "Guilty AF and Jock's face says it all." Others pointed out Rasheeda's devastation, rallying behind her with hashtags like #Justice for Rasheeda. Jasmine became the target of brutal criticism. Her Instagram flooded with snake emojis while Kirk, oddly enough, gained a wave of sympathy for the first time in years. Backstage, Rasheeda collapsed into tears, supported by Candy and Sierra. "I've wasted my life," she sobbed, her voice hollow. "I stayed with a man who cheated. I endured humiliation. And now I find out it wasn't even his. What was it all for?" Candy rubbed her back gently, whispering, "Girl, you didn't waste your life. You raised your kids. You built your empire. But now you gotta decide what comes next." Jasmine, meanwhile, broke down in a separate room, her makeup streaked from tears. "They're never gonna forgive me," she whispered to her friend. "No matter what I say, they'll think I lied. I swear I thought it was Kirk's. I never wanted to hurt Rasheeda like this." Her friend looked at her sternly. "But what if Jock is the father? You think Kendra's just gonna let that slide? You think Rasheeda's pain is bad? Wait till Jock's woman comes for you." Jasmine buried her face in her hands, trembling. And Jock, pacing the hallway, called his mother, his voice shaky. "Ma, they saying it ain't Kirk's. What if it's mine? What if I got another child I didn't even know about?" His mother's sigh was heavy with disappointment. "Jock, you gotta face your choices. You been out here wildin' for years. If this baby's yours, you step up, but you also gotta be ready for the storm that's coming. 'Cause Kendra ain't gonna stand by quietly." The storm came quickly. Within hours of the episode airing, Kendra blasted Jock on Instagram Live. Her voice was sharp, trembling with fury. "I'm supposed to be planning a wedding, and now I gotta deal with this. Jock, if that baby is yours, don't come back to me. I will not be embarrassed on national TV again." Fans flooded her comments with support, some urging her to leave him, others demanding she wait until the retest confirmed the results. Meanwhile, Kirk tried to process his own devastation. Sitting in his car late at night, he recorded a video for his children. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice heavy. "I made mistakes. I hurt your mother. I hurt all of you. And now I find out I was carrying someone else's burden this whole time. I don't know how to fix it, but I swear I'll try." The video leaked online, and fans were stunned by his vulnerability. For the first time, Kirk wasn't the villain, he was a broken man, stripped of excuses. The drama hit new heights when Mona confirmed that the official retest results would be revealed in front of the entire cast. This time, there would be no envelopes, no secrets, no room for error. "We're going to end this once and for all," she declared. The announcement sent shockwaves through the group. Rasheeda hardened her resolve, vowing not to cry another tear until the truth was laid bare. Jasmine spiraled deeper into fear, knowing her reputation was on the line. Jock braced himself for the possibility that his entire world could collapse in a single sentence. And Kirk, silent but seething, prepared for the fallout that would define the rest of his life. When the cast gathered again, the atmosphere was suffocating. Fans outside the venue held signs, some reading team, Rasheeda, others mocking Jock with baby bottles drawn in marker. Inside, the cast sat in grim silence as the doctor stepped forward with the results. The cameras zoomed in, capturing every twitch, every tear, every bead of sweat. "The probability of paternity for Mr. Young Jock," the doctor began. The room held its breath, the fans leaned closer to their screens, and the world prepared to hear the truth that would either confirm the rumors or ignite an even bigger explosion. The doctor's voice trailed off into silence, leaving everyone on edge, their lives about to change forever. The doctor adjusted his glasses, holding the paper as though it were a sacred text. The entire cast leaned forward, breaths held, hearts racing. Rasheeda's nails dug into the arm of her chair. Jock wiped sweat from his forehead. Jasmine shook uncontrollably, and Kirk stared blankly at the floor, bracing for the blow. The cameras zoomed in. The silence stretched on, and then the words came. "The probability of paternity for Mr. Young Jock, 99.9%. The room erupted like a bomb had gone off. Gasps, screams, chairs scraping against the floor. Rasheeda clapped her hand over her mouth, her eyes flooding with tears of disbelief and rage. "I knew it," she shouted, her voice echoing. "All this time, I knew something wasn't right. And you," she pointed at Jasmine, trembling with fury, "you let me take years of humiliation for a lie." Jasmine collapsed into sobs, crying out, "I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know." Jock stumbled backward as though he'd been punched in the chest, his hands clutching his head. "No, man, this can't be real." The doctor calmly folded the paper, his voice steady despite the chaos. "The test is conclusive. Mr. Jock is the biological father." But no one heard the rest over the storm of emotions tearing through the room. Kirk shot to his feet, his voice trembling with rage. "So I was dragged through the mud, my marriage damn near destroyed, my kids hurt, my name ruined for your mistake. Jock." His words thundered as he pointed at Jock. "You let me carry your burden, and you said nothing." Jock fired back, his voice cracking. "I didn't know. You think I would have let it go this far if I knew? Man, I'm just finding out now like everybody else." Rasheeda snapped, her voice shaking the air. "Both of y'all ruined me. Both of you. I stood by Kirk when the world laughed at me. And you," she glared at Jock, her eyes blazing, "you've been around us this whole time. Sitting at dinners, smiling in our faces, while your child was right there. Do you understand how cruel that is?" Jock tried to step toward her, but Candy blocked him, shouting, "Don't you dare." Jasmine crawled across the floor toward Rasheeda, sobbing, "Please, I didn't know, I promise." Rasheeda jerked back, her face twisted with disgust. "Don't touch me. You've done enough." The fallout rippled immediately. Carly Red, gleeful in the chaos, whipped out her phone and went live on Instagram. "Y'all ain't ready for this tea," she told her viewers, panning across the chaos. Within minutes, millions had tuned in. Hashtags like #DNA revealed and #JOCS, baby trending worldwide. Fans posted side-by-side photos of Jock and the child, claiming the resemblance was undeniable. Memes flooded the internet. Jock's shocked face became a viral template overnight. Kendra, Jock's fiancée, exploded online with a furious Instagram live of her own. Her voice shook with betrayal. I told him his past was gonna catch up to us. And now look, another baby. Another lie, another humiliation. I'm done. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't even breathe near me." She ripped off her engagement ring on camera and slammed it onto the table, the sound echoing like a gunshot through her followers' phones. Fans flooded her comments with heartbreak and support, some begging her to stay strong, others demanding she expose every secret Jock ever had. Meanwhile, Kirk retreated into silence. For once, he wasn't defending himself, wasn't spinning the narrative. He sat in the corner, his face buried in his hands, broken. "I lost everything for nothing," he whispered to himself, unheard by the chaos around him. Rasheeda stormed out, refusing to film another second, leaving producers scrambling to follow her. The cameras caught her storming down the hallway, shouting, "I'm done. I'm done with all of it. Her tears smeared her makeup, her voice raw with pain. And fans immediately began rallying behind her, declaring her the true victim of the saga. Jasmine, meanwhile, was left shattered. Her phone buzzed with endless messages, hate, threats, mockery. Her once private life had been stripped bare, and now she was vilified on every platform. She curled into a corner backstage, whispering over and over, I didn't know. But her words fell on deaf ears. To the world, she was the liar who destroyed marriages and friendships with one devastating secret. Jock faced his own storm. As he sat in the green room, his phone rang nonstop. His mother, his children, his management team, all demanding answers. He finally answered a call from his oldest son, who shouted, How many more, Dad? How many more kids are gonna pop up before you stop? Jock broke down in tears, his bravado gone. I didn't know, son. I swear, I didn't know. But the damage was done. His credibility as a father, as a man, was shredded in front of millions. The media frenzy went nuclear. Talk shows picked up the story. Blogs posted nonstop updates. And even mainstream outlets ran headlines like, DNA bombshell rocks, love and hip-hop. Jock revealed as father. Fans dissected every angle, some mocking Jock, others sympathizing with Rasheeda, while many declared Jasmine the ultimate villain. Behind the scenes, Mona Scott saw dollar signs in the chaos. She scheduled an emergency reunion special to air immediately, promising the full, uncut truth. The cast was dragged back together, though tensions were at an all-time high. When they sat on the reunion stage, the energy was toxic. Rasheeda refused to look at Kirk or Jasmine. Jock slouched with shame, and Jasmine sat trembling, mascara streaking down her cheeks. Mona leaned forward, her voice steady. We've been through scandals before, but nothing like this. The truth is out now. Jock is the father. But the question is, where do we go from here? The reunion spiraled quickly into another battlefield. Rasheeda unloaded years of pain, her voice trembling with rage. I sacrificed my pride for this marriage, for my family. And now, I find out it was all for nothing. I could have left years ago, saved myself the heartbreak, if I had known the truth. Kirk tried to interject, but she silenced him with a glare. Don't say a word. You've said enough over the years. You sat back and let me suffer. And now I'm free. Free from you. Free from this mess. Fans erupted online, calling it Rasheeda's most powerful moment ever. Jock, meanwhile, tried to apologize to Jasmine, his voice cracking. I'm sorry. I should have been there. I should have known. But Jasmine's eyes hardened, her grief transforming into anger. Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't make the world stop calling me names. Sorry doesn't give me my peace back. Their exchange went viral instantly, fans debating whether Jock's remorse was real or just another performance. The reunion ended in chaos, cast members shouting, tears flowing, security stepping in, and as the credits rolled, a teaser flashed on the screen. Next season, the truth cuts deeper. Fans were left screaming, desperate for more, knowing the fallout from this scandal would shape every storyline to come. The DNA swap secret was no longer a rumor, it was reality, and its aftershocks promised to change everything forever. The doctor adjusted his glasses, holding the paper as though it were a sacred text. The entire cast leaned forward, breaths held, hearts racing. Rasheeda's nails dug into the arm of her chair. Jock wiped sweat from his forehead. Jasmine shook uncontrollably, and Kirk stared blankly at the floor, bracing for the blow. The cameras zoomed in, the silence stretched on, and then the words came. The probability of paternity for Mr. Young Jock, 99.9%. The room erupted like a bomb had gone off. Gasps, screams, chairs scraping against the floor. Rasheeda clapped her hand over her mouth, her eyes flooding with tears of disbelief and rage. I knew it, she shouted, her voice echoing. All this time, I knew something wasn't right. And you, she pointed at Jasmine, trembling with fury. You let me take years of humiliation for a lie. Jasmine collapsed into sobs, crying out, I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know. Jock stumbled backward as though he'd been punched in the chest, his hands clutching his head. No, man. This can't be real. The doctor calmly folded the paper, his voice steady despite the chaos. The test is conclusive. Mr. Jock is the biological father. But no one heard the rest over the storm of emotions tearing through the room. Kirk shot to his feet, his voice trembling with rage. So I was dragged through the mud, my marriage damn near destroyed, my kids hurt, my name ruined, for your mistake, Jock. His words thundered as he pointed at Jock. You let me carry your burden, and you said nothing. Jock fired back, his voice cracking. I didn't know. You think I would have let it go this far if I knew? Man, I'm just finding out now, like everybody else. Rasheeda snapped, her voice shaking the air. Both of y'all ruined me. Both of you. I stood by Kirk when the world laughed at me. And you, she glared at Jock, her eyes blazing, you've been around us this whole time, sitting at dinners, smiling in our faces, while your child was right there. Do you understand how cruel that is? Jock tried to step toward her, but Candy blocked him, shouting, "Don't you dare." Jasmine crawled across the floor toward Rasheeda, sobbing, "Please, I didn't know, I promise." Rasheeda jerked back, her face twisted with disgust. "Don't touch me. You've done enough." The fallout rippled immediately. Carly Red, gleeful in the chaos, whipped out her phone and went live on Instagram. "Y'all ain't ready for this tea," she told her viewers, panning across the chaos. Within minutes, millions had tuned in. Hashtags like #DNA revealed and #JOCS, baby trending worldwide. Fans posted side-by-side photos of Jock and the child, claiming the resemblance was undeniable. Memes flooded the internet. Jock's shocked face became a viral template overnight. Kendra, Jock's fiancée, exploded online with a furious Instagram live of her own. Her voice shook with betrayal. I told him, his past was gonna catch up to us. And now look, another baby, another lie, another humiliation. I'm done. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't even breathe near me." She ripped off her engagement ring on camera and slammed it onto the table, the sound echoing like a gunshot through her followers' phones. Fans flooded her comments with heartbreak and support, some begging her to stay strong, others demanding she expose every secret Jock ever had. Meanwhile, Kirk retreated into silence. For once, he wasn't defending himself, wasn't spinning the narrative. He sat in the corner, his face buried in his hands, broken. "I lost everything for nothing," he whispered to himself, unheard by the chaos around him. Rasheeda stormed out, refusing to film another second, leaving producers scrambling to follow her. The cameras caught her storming down the hallway, shouting, I'm done with all of it." Her tears smeared her makeup, her voice raw with pain. And fans immediately began rallying behind her, declaring her the true victim of the saga. Jasmine, meanwhile, was left shattered. Her phone buzzed with endless messages, hate, threats, mockery. Her once private life had been stripped bare, and now she was vilified on every platform. She curled into a corner backstage, whispering over and over, I didn't know. But her words fell on deaf ears. To the world, she was the liar who destroyed marriages and friendships with one devastating secret. Jock faced his own storm. As he sat in the green room, his phone rang nonstop. His mother, his children, his management team, all demanding answers. He finally answered a call from his oldest son, who shouted, "How many more, Dad? How many more kids are gonna pop up before you stop?" Jock broke down in tears, his bravado gone. "I didn't know, son. I swear, I didn't know." But the damage was done. His credibility as a father, as a man, was shredded in front of millions. The media frenzy went nuclear. Talk shows picked up the story, blogs posted nonstop updates, and even mainstream outlets ran headlines like, DNA bombshell rocks, love and hip-hop, Jock revealed as father. Fans dissected every angle, some mocking Jock, others sympathizing with Rasheeda, while many declared Jasmine the ultimate villain. Behind the scenes, Mona Scott saw dollar signs in the chaos. She scheduled an emergency reunion special to air immediately, promising the full, uncut truth. The cast was dragged back together, though tensions were at an all-time high. When they sat on the reunion stage, the energy was toxic. Rasheeda refused to look at Kirk or Jasmine, Jock slouched with shame, and Jasmine sat trembling, mascara streaking down her cheeks. Mona leaned forward, her voice steady. "We've been through scandals before, but nothing like this. The truth is out now. Jock is the father. But the question is, where do we go from here?" The reunion spiraled quickly into another battlefield. Rasheeda unloaded years of pain, her voice trembling with rage. "I sacrificed my pride for this marriage, for my family. And now, I find out it was all for nothing. I could have left years ago, saved myself the heartbreak, if I had known the truth." Kirk tried to interject, but she silenced him with a glare. "Don't say a word. You've said enough over the years. You sat back and let me suffer. And now I'm free. Free from you. Free from this mess." Fans erupted online, calling it Rasheeda's most powerful moment ever. Jock, meanwhile, tried to apologize to Jasmine, his voice cracking. "I'm sorry. I should have been there. I should have known." But Jasmine's eyes hardened, her grief transforming into anger. "Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't make the world stop calling me names. Sorry doesn't give me my peace back. Their exchange went viral instantly, fans debating whether Jock's remorse was real or just another performance. The reunion ended in chaos, cast members shouting, tears flowing, security stepping in, and as the credits rolled, a teaser flashed on the screen. Next season, the truth cuts deeper. Fans were left screaming, desperate for more, knowing the fallout from this scandal would shape every storyline to come. The DNA swap secret was no longer a rumor, it was reality, and its aftershocks promised to change everything forever. The doctor adjusted his glasses, holding the paper as though it were a sacred text. The entire cast leaned forward, breaths held, hearts racing. Rasheeda's nails dug into the arm of her chair. Jock wiped sweat from his forehead. Jasmine shook uncontrollably, and Kirk stared blankly at the floor, bracing for the blow. The cameras zoomed in. The silence stretched on, and then the words came. The probability of paternity for Mr. Young Jock, 99.9%. The room erupted like a bomb had gone off. Gasps, screams, chairs scraping against the floor. Rasheeda clapped her hand over her mouth, her eyes flooding with tears of disbelief and rage. I knew it, she shouted, her voice echoing. All this time, I knew something wasn't right. And you, she pointed at Jasmine, trembling with fury, you let me take years of humiliation for a lie. Jasmine collapsed into sobs, crying out, I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know. Jock stumbled backward as though he'd been punched in the chest, his hands clutching his head. No, man, this can't be real. The doctor calmly folded the paper, his voice steady despite the chaos. The test is conclusive. Mr. Jock is the biological father. But no one heard the rest over the storm of emotions tearing through the room. Kirk shot to his feet, his voice trembling with rage. So I was dragged through the mud. My marriage damn near destroyed. My kids hurt. My name ruined for your mistake. Jock, his words thundered as he pointed at Jock. You let me carry your burden, and you said nothing. Jock fired back, his voice cracking. I didn't know. You think I would have let it go this far if I knew? Man, I'm just finding out now, like everybody else. Rasheeda snapped, her voice shaking the air. Both of y'all ruined me. Both of you. I stood by Kirk when the world laughed at me. And you, she glared at Jock, her eyes blazing. You've been around us this whole time, sitting at dinners, smiling in our faces, while your child was right there. Do you understand how cruel that is? Jock tried to step toward her, but Candy blocked him, shouting, Don't you dare. Jasmine crawled across the floor toward Rasheeda, sobbing, Please, I didn't know, I promise. Rasheeda jerked back, her face twisted with disgust. Don't touch me. You've done enough. The fallout rippled immediately. Carly Red, gleeful in the chaos, whipped out her phone and went live on Instagram. Y'all ain't ready for this tea, she told her viewers, panning across the chaos. Within minutes, millions had tuned in. Hashtags like hashtag DNA revealed and hashtag JOCS, baby trending worldwide. Fans posted side-by-side photos of Jock and the child, claiming the resemblance was undeniable. Memes flooded the internet. Jock's shocked face became a viral template overnight. Kendra, Jock's fiancée, exploded online with a furious Instagram live of her own. Her voice shook with betrayal. I told him his past was gonna catch up to us. And now look, another baby. Another lie, another humiliation. I'm done. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't even breathe near me. She ripped off her engagement ring on camera and slammed it onto the table, the sound echoing like a gunshot through her followers' phones. Fans flooded her comments with heartbreak and support, some begging her to stay strong, others demanding she expose every secret Jock ever had. Meanwhile, Kirk retreated into silence. For once, he wasn't defending himself, wasn't spinning the narrative. He sat in the corner, his face buried in his hands, broken. I lost everything for nothing, he whispered to himself, unheard by the chaos around him. Rasheeda stormed out, refusing to film another second, leaving producers scrambling to follow her. The cameras caught her storming down the hallway, shouting, I'm done. I'm done with all of it. Her tears smeared her makeup, her voice raw with pain. And fans immediately began rallying behind her, declaring her the true victim of the saga. Jasmine, meanwhile, was left shattered. Her phone buzzed with endless messages, hate, threats, mockery. Her once private life had been stripped bare, and now she was vilified on every platform. She curled into a corner backstage, whispering over and over, I didn't know, but her words fell on deaf ears. To the world, she was the liar who destroyed marriages and friendships with one devastating secret. Jock faced his own storm. As he sat in the green room, his phone rang nonstop. His mother, his children, his management team, all demanding answers. He finally answered a call from his oldest son, who shouted, "How many more, Dad? How many more kids are gonna pop up before you stop?" Jock broke down in tears, his bravado gone. "I didn't know, son. I swear, I didn't know." But the damage was done. His credibility as a father, as a man, was shredded in front of millions. The media frenzy went nuclear. Talk shows picked up the story, blogs posted non-stop updates, and even mainstream outlets ran headlines like, "DNA bombshell rocks, love and hip-hop, Jock revealed as father." Fans dissected every angle, some mocking Jock, others sympathizing with Rasheeda, while many declared Jasmine the ultimate villain. Behind the scenes, Mona Scott saw dollar signs in the chaos. She scheduled an emergency reunion special to air immediately, promising the full uncut truth. The cast was dragged back together, though tensions were at an all-time high. When they sat on the reunion stage, the energy was toxic. Rasheeda refused to look at Kirk or Jasmine, Jock slouched with shame, and Jasmine sat trembling, mascara streaking down her cheeks. Mona leaned forward, her voice steady. "We've been through scandals before, but nothing like this. The truth is out now. Jock is the father. But the question is, where do we go from here?" The reunion spiraled quickly into another battlefield. Rasheeda unloaded years of pain, her voice trembling with rage. "I sacrificed my pride for this marriage, for my family, and now, I find out it was all for nothing. I could have left years ago, saved myself the heartbreak, if I had known the truth." Kirk tried to interject, but she silenced him with a glare. "Don't say a word. You've said enough, over the years. You sat back and let me suffer, and now I'm free. Free from you. Free from this mess." Fans erupted online, calling it Rasheeda's most powerful moment ever. Jock, meanwhile, tried to apologize to Jasmine, his voice cracking. "I'm sorry, I should have been there. I should have known." But Jasmine's eyes hardened, her grief transforming into anger. "Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't make the world stop calling me names. Sorry doesn't give me my peace back." Their exchange went viral instantly, fans debating whether Jock's remorse was real or just another performance. The reunion ended in chaos, cast members shouting, tears flowing, security stepping in, and as the credits rolled, a teaser flashed on the screen. Next season, the truth cuts deeper. Fans were left screaming, desperate for more, knowing the fallout from this scandal would shape every storyline to come. The DNA swap secret was no longer a rumor, it was reality, and its aftershocks promised to change everything forever. Atlanta couldn't breathe without tasting the scandal. Every club, every salon, every radio station kept the DNA story alive, like smoke hanging in the air. The city hadn't seen a fallout this devastating in years. And for the cast of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, there was no escaping the glare. Rasheeda walked through her boutique with her head high, but her heart heavy. Customers flocked to her store not just to shop, but to gawk, to snap photos, to whisper about how strong she was. They called her a queen, a survivor, but when the doors closed at night, the silence cut her deeper than the insults ever had. Sitting alone in her office, she muttered, "They clap for me in public, but they don't know how empty I feel when I go home." She scrolled through her phone, hundreds of DMs from fans begging her to leave Kirk for good. Some sent flowers, others sent money to support her healing. But all she wanted was peace, something that seemed impossible now. Kirk had become a ghost in his own home. Rasheeda barely spoke to him, the kids avoided him, and his friends offered nothing but judgment. "You let this happen," Scrappy told him bluntly during a tense conversation. "Even if it wasn't your fault, you sat back and played along. Now look, you lost everything." Kirk's shoulders slumped as he replied, "I didn't know. Scrap, I swear I didn't. But it don't matter, 'cause the damage is already done." His voice cracked, the weight of years of betrayal now turned back on him like karma's cruel hand. Jasmine faced relentless torment. Paparazzi followed her everywhere. Fans shouted insults at her in parking lots, and her phone buzzed non-stop with cruel messages. One night she threw it against the wall, collapsing in tears. "I can't live like this," she sobbed to her mother. Her mother, tired and cold, replied, "You wanted this life, Jasmine. Fame comes with blood. Now you see what it costs." Jasmine curled into herself, whispering, "I never wanted it like this. Not like this." Jock's world shattered in slow motion. Kendra cut off all contact, moving out without warning. His children distanced themselves, embarrassed by the headlines. Fans mocked him online, calling him father of Atlanta. Jock sat alone in his car outside a strip mall one night, staring at the steering wheel, whispering, "How did I get here? How did I let it all spin this far?" He had built a persona of humor and charm, but now the city saw him stripped bare. Broken under the weight of fatherhood he hadn't asked for but could no longer deny. The producers capitalized on every tear. Mona ordered extra crews to shadow the cast, catching breakdowns, confrontations, and secret meetings. Ratings soared, but the cast began to resent her. Rasheeda confronted her after a shoot. "I'm not your puppet," she snapped, tears streaking her face. Mona replied coolly, "You're not a puppet, Rasheeda, you're a star. And stars shine brightest in the dark." The words only deepened Rasheeda's anger. "Then I don't want to shine. Not like this." Carly Red stirred the pot further, leaking screenshots of text messages she claimed proved Jock knew about the baby earlier than he admitted. "Don't get mad at me," she smirked on Instagram Live. "I just show y'all the truth." Jock exploded in rage, calling her a liar. "Carly, you always twisting things for clout." But fans didn't care who was right, the spectacle was enough. Memes of Carly holding receipts went viral, adding fuel to an already raging fire. At the reunion follow-up taping, emotions boiled over again. Rasheeda walked in dressed head-to-toe in black, a symbol of mourning for the years she lost. Jock sat hunched, silent, while Jasmine shook visibly under the lights. When asked what she wanted to say to Rasheeda, Jasmine whispered, "I'm sorry. I never meant for this to destroy you." Rasheeda's face hardened. "You didn't just destroy me. You destroyed everything. My family. My trust. My peace. And sorry doesn't fix it." The audience gasped. The moment replayed online a million times. Fans declared Rasheeda the voice of every betrayed woman. Kirk, sitting beside her, tried to reach for her hand, but she pulled away in front of the cameras. The rejection was final, brutal, and undeniable. Fans screamed online, "She's done for real this time." And finally, free Rasheeda. The scene cemented her as the phoenix rising from the ashes, even as her personal heartache grew heavier. Jock broke down later in the taping, tears streaming as he admitted, "I failed. As a man, as a father, as a partner. I failed." The words went viral. Fans torn between sympathy and mockery. Some wrote, "At least he admitted it," while others laughed, "Now he crying like he ain't clowned for years." Jock's fall from grace was complete, his laughter silenced by the reality of his choices. Outside of filming, rumors swirled that Rasheeda was considering divorce papers, while others claimed she was quietly meeting with lawyers to protect her businesses. Jock was rumored to be begging Kendra for another chance, though she remained silent, refusing to give him the closure he craved. Jasmine, meanwhile, was said to be considering leaving Atlanta altogether. Her reputation so scorched that staying seemed impossible. The DNA scandal had detonated like a bomb, leaving nothing untouched. Families were broken, friendships destroyed, reputations burned to ash. And yet, the world couldn't look away. The viewers wanted more, demanded more, and the cast had no choice but to bleed on camera until the story was finished. But the truth, as heavy as it already was, still had layers yet to be revealed. Rumors whispered of cover-ups, payoffs, and betrayals even deeper than DNA, and everyone knew one thing. The story wasn't over, not by a long shot. The scandal had become bigger than any of them. It wasn't just a storyline anymore. It was front-page news. Gossip blogs running daily updates, fans staging Twitter watch parties to dissect every leaked clip. Atlanta itself seemed to move to the rhythm of the fallout. Every time Rasheeda stepped out in public, paparazzi lenses snapped, capturing her pain like it was a trophy. Jock couldn't stop trending, his name tied forever to hashtags about betrayal and fatherhood. Jasmine found herself branded a villain, her every move mocked online. And Kirk, once the face of scandal, was now strangely quiet, fading into the background like a man swallowed by his own shadow. Inside Rasheeda's home, the silence was unbearable. She sat at her kitchen table, staring at divorce papers she had printed but not signed. Her hands trembled as she whispered to herself, "Do I finally let go? Do I walk away for good?" The betrayal had broken her in ways she never imagined, not just because of Kirk, but because the truth proved her years of humiliation were unnecessary. Every tear she cried, every time she forgave, every time she fought to save her family, it had all been for nothing. Her mother tried to comfort her. "Baby, you don't need him. You never did. You built yourself. You raised your kids. Don't let his sins chain you anymore." Rasheeda wiped her tears, but her heart was still torn. Kirk, meanwhile, spiraled into quiet despair. He drove through Atlanta late at night, aimlessly circling streets where he once felt powerful, respected. Now he was a pariah, a man stripped of even the villain role he once leaned on. In a late-night confession to a producer, he admitted, "I thought I was the bad guy in this story. Turns out, I was just a fool. And I don't know how to live with that." For once, Kirk's bravado was gone, his arrogance shattered. He was no longer the manipulator, he was the manipulated. Jock tried to salvage what remained of his life, but the cracks were too deep. Kendra ignored his calls, her silence screaming louder than any words. His children barely looked at him, ashamed of the headlines tying their father to scandal once again. Jock's usual humor vanished, replaced with long silences and heavy sighs. During a radio interview, he broke down "I ain't laughing no more," he admitted, tears welling up. "This ain't no punchline. This is my life, and I messed it up." The clip went viral instantly, fans divided between sympathy and mockery. Jasmine's world collapsed even further. Once she was the other woman, the scandalous figure who shook up the Frost marriage. Now she was the mother at the center of the biggest betrayal yet. Paparazzi hounded her, fans cursed her in grocery store aisles, and her social media became a battlefield. She sat in her apartment one night, rocking back and forth as her phone lit up with messages. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered to herself. "I just wanted to be loved." But in Atlanta, forgiveness was rare, and reputations once tarnished were rarely repaired. The producers, sensing the magnitude of the chaos, planned a special 2-part documentary, DNA, The Untold Story. It promised never-before-seen footage, secret interviews, and shocking new revelations. When the trailer dropped, fans lost their minds. The clip teased footage of Jock arguing with Kendra, Rasheeda slamming a door in Kirk's face, and Jasmine sobbing uncontrollably. The final frame showed Rasheeda saying, "You don't even know the half of it," leaving fans hungry for more. During filming, more secrets spilled. Carly Red, ever the chaos magnet, claimed she had proof someone inside the clinic had been paid to tamper with the first test. "This wasn't no accident," she declared, waving her phone. "Somebody wanted Kirk to look guilty. Somebody wanted Rasheeda broken." The accusation set off another round of speculation. Who had paid for the swap? Was it Jock, desperate to avoid responsibility? Was it Jasmine, desperate to lock down her storyline? Or was it Kirk himself, trying to control the narrative? Each theory spread online, fans dissecting every possible angle. Rasheeda grew colder, her patience gone. In one explosive scene, she confronted Jasmine face to face. "You ruined my life. I don't care if you say you didn't know. You lived off my pain. You let me bleed for years while you sat there pretending to be innocent." Jasmine sobbed, begging for forgiveness. "I thought it was him. I swear, I thought it was him." But Rasheeda's glare never softened. "Your tears don't fix my scars." The moment trended instantly, fans praising Rasheeda's strength and dragging Jasmine deeper into villainy. Meanwhile, Jock tried to win Kendra back. He showed up at her house with flowers, tears streaming down his face. "I messed up, baby," he pleaded, "but I'll fix it. I'll be the father. I'll be the man you deserve." Kendra's eyes burned with rage. "You can't fix this, Jock. You humiliated me. You embarrassed me. And you think some flowers erase that?" She slammed the door in his face, leaving him standing on the porch, broken. Fans rallied behind Kendra, praising her for refusing to bend, while others begged her to give Jock one more chance. The fallout reached beyond the cast. Other celebrities chimed in, some mocking Jock, others siding with Rasheeda, turning the scandal into a national talking point. Podcasts dissected the drama, comedians joked about Jock needing his own daycare, and fans flooded Rasheeda's page with messages of solidarity. The cast had never been this famous, but the fame was soaked in pain, betrayal, and humiliation. As the documentary prepared to air, Mona teased that one final twist was yet to come. "You think you know the story," she said in a promo clip, "but you don't know who really pulled the strings." The teaser sent shockwaves through the fandom. Who else could be involved? What bigger betrayal lay beneath the DNA swap? The scandal had already torn families apart, ended engagements, destroyed friendships, and scarred reputations forever. But Atlanta knew one thing: the storm wasn't over. The darkest truths had yet to surface, and when they did, they would burn hotter than anything that had come before. The documentary premiere was unlike anything the Love and Hip Hop franchise had ever seen. Fans lined up outside the theater in downtown Atlanta, phones ready, flashes filling the night sky. The cast arrived one by one, each entrance sparking roars and boos. Rasheeda stepped out first, dressed in white like a phoenix, risen from ash. The crowd screamed her name, chanting "Queen," as she walked past without so much as a glance toward the cameras. Kirk arrived next, alone, ignored by many, mocked by others. Jasmine appeared later, shielded by security, drowned out by a sea of insults and harsh words. But it was Jock's arrival that nearly shut the street down, half the crowd booing, half shouting his name. the tension a perfect reflection of his fractured reputation. Inside, the screening began. The documentary promised raw truths, and it delivered. Hidden camera footage revealed whispered conversations between producers, hinting they had known inconsistencies existed in the original DNA test. "Do we tell them?" one producer asked in the clip. The response, "Not yet. Let it ride, it's good TV." The audience gasped. The franchise itself was complicit, its hunger for drama outweighing any care for the emotional carnage left behind. Then came an even deeper revelation. A former clinic employee, face blurred, voice disguised, confessed on camera, "I was offered money to switch the results. I don't know who paid me. I was contacted through an anonymous messenger, but I was told specifically, make sure Kirk's name comes up as the father." The crowd inside the theater exploded, shouts and gasps ricocheting off the walls. Rasheeda turned to Mona with fire in her eyes. "You knew about this?" she snapped. Mona, seated 2 rows back, raised her hands defensively. "I didn't know about that," she shouted back. The room dissolved into chaos. The doc revealed more. Secret text messages between Jasmine and Jock, exchanged around the time of her pregnancy. One message from Jock read, "You sure you know who it is?" Jasmine replied, "I think so. Don't make this harder than it already is." The audience screamed. The implication was clear. Jock had his doubts from the very beginning. He had chosen silence. Jock buried his face in his hands in the theater, the crowd heckling him with chants of "You knew, you knew." When the documentary ended, the cast was ushered onto the stage for a live Q&A. The energy was electric, hostile, raw. The moderator tried to maintain control, but the cast erupted within minutes. Rasheeda turned to Jock, her voice trembling. "You let me live in hell while you sat there knowing this might be yours. You laughed with Kirk. You sat at our table. You were around my kids. How could you?" Jock's eyes filled with tears as he muttered, "I didn't know for sure. I was scared." Rasheeda snapped back, "Scared? Scared while I was humiliated? Scared while my marriage crumbled? Your fear destroyed my life." Jasmine tried to interject, sobbing, "I thought it was Kirk's. I never wanted this to happen." But Rasheeda silenced her with a glare that could cut steel. "You ruined my family, Jasmine. You ruined it, and now you want sympathy. You don't get it. Not from me, not from anyone." The crowd roared in agreement, Rasheeda's words cementing her role as the voice of every betrayed woman watching. Kirk sat quietly, for once stripped of any power to manipulate the situation. Finally, he spoke, his voice low. "I thought I was the villain. I thought I was the one who did the worst. But I see now I was just a pawn in something bigger." He looked at Jock and Jasmine with hollow eyes. "You took everything from me. My wife, my kids' respect, my name, and I don't know how to ever get it back." His words struck an unexpected chord, and for the first time, some fans expressed pity for him. But the night's biggest bombshell came when Carly Red took the microphone. She waved a folder dramatically, milking the crowd's anticipation. "Y'all think the story's done? Baby, it ain't even close. This," she held the folder up, "is proof of who paid that clinic worker." The crowd screamed, security rushing to her side. Mona tried to grab the folder, but Carly snatched it back, her voice rising. "Y'all wanted the truth. Here it is." She flipped the papers, reading aloud. "Payment authorization traced back to production funds." The theater erupted in chaos. The accusation was clear. Love and Hip Hop itself had orchestrated the DNA swap to fuel the storyline. The crowd booed, some chanting "Shut it down." Mona leaped to defend herself, shouting, "That's not the full story. Y'all don't know what you're seeing." But the damage was done. The scandal had grown bigger than any cast member. It had consumed the very show itself. Fans online immediately launched hashtags like #ShutdownLHHATL and #DNA demanding accountability. The fallout was sponsors pulled out, threatening to cut ties. Cast members privately debated walking away for good. Rasheeda posted a cryptic Instagram story the next morning, a photo of her boutique mirror with the words "Free at last." Jock went live that same night, begging fans to understand. "I ain't no monster. I ain't try to hurt nobody. I just made mistakes." But the comments were brutal. "You ruined lives. No excuses. Clown of Atlanta." Jasmine disappeared from social media entirely, her silence fueling even more speculation. And yet, despite the chaos, the ratings soared higher than ever. Millions tuned in, unable to look away, addicted to every twist. What had started as whispers of a DNA swap had grown into the biggest entertainment scandal of the decade. Families destroyed, reputations shattered, a franchise exposed. In the quiet after the storm, Rasheeda sat on her porch one evening, staring into the Atlanta sunset. Her voice, caught on a leaked clip, was soft but firm. I don't know if I'll ever trust again, but I know one thing: I survived. And that's something none of them can take from me. Her words spread like wildfire, shared across fan pages and news outlets. She had become more than a reality star, she was a symbol of resilience. Jock remained broken, Jasmine shunned, Kirk hollow, and the show, though still standing, was forever changed, its foundation cracked by the very scandal it had exploited. The secret DNA swap was no longer just a storyline. It was a cautionary tale of betrayal, manipulation, and the dangerous cost of chasing fame. Atlanta would never forget it. Neither would the world. The city of Atlanta had always thrived on whispers, but after the DNA scandal, whispers turned into earthquakes. Nothing felt stable anymore. Every time one cast member tried to pick up the pieces, another revelation sent everything crashing down again. Rasheeda became the face of resilience. She carried herself like steel, but behind closed doors, the pain never left. Nights were the hardest, she admitted to a close friend. I hear people calling me strong, but when I'm alone, I don't feel strong. I feel hollow. She found herself scrolling through old family photos, smiling faces that now looked like strangers. Still, she pushed forward. She poured her energy into her boutique, her music, and her children. Fans rallied behind her, turning her into a symbol of survival. Women across the country wrote to her, saying she gave them courage to leave toxic relationships. Rasheeda's personal hell had turned her into an icon, though the weight of it often felt unbearable. Kirk drifted further into isolation. His empire crumbled. Business partners pulled away. Endorsements disappeared. He drove around aimlessly, replaying every mistake. I spent years fighting to prove myself, he muttered to a producer off-camera. But in the end, I wasn't even the one who needed to prove anything. I was just a fool, holding on to lies. His voice cracked as he admitted, I don't think Rasheeda will ever forgive me, and maybe I don't deserve it. For once, fans felt conflicted. Some believed karma had finally caught up to him. Others pitied him, a man who had lost everything. Not for his own cheating this time, but for being caught in someone else's chaos. Jock's world was a storm that never calmed. He couldn't escape the title, father to yet another child. The punchline of memes, the subject of endless talk show jokes, his laughter the very thing that defined him. He faced Kendra again, this time off camera, standing outside her door with tears in his eyes. I'm not asking you to take me back, he said softly. I'm just asking you to see me as a man trying to change. Kendra stared at him coldly. You've been trying to change for years, Jock, but change don't mean nothing if the results always look the same. She shut the door, her footsteps echoing like a final verdict. Jock stood in silence, broken, the cameras catching every second. Jasmine was haunted. The scandal had turned her into the villain of Atlanta. Stores refused her service. Clubs turned her away. Strangers spit insults in public. She tried to defend herself online. I didn't know. I never wanted this. But the comments drowned her out. In a rare interview, her voice cracked as she admitted, I thought I was securing a future. I thought being with Kirk was stability. I never imagined it would destroy everything. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Now I don't even know who I am anymore. Her pain was real, but sympathy was rare. Two fans. She was still the one who had lit the match. Then came Carly Red's bombshell. She produced documents suggesting the swap wasn't only a radiance ploy, it was planned from the very beginning by someone inside production who stood to profit. This wasn't just about TV, Carly declared. This was about money. Big money. She claimed sponsors had been promised explosive storylines, and when reality didn't deliver, reality was manufactured. The documents hinted at email trails and payment records, fueling speculation that someone high up had orchestrated everything. Fans erupted online, demanding accountability. Hashtag LHHATL exposed trended for days. Mona Scott denied it. Of course, she went on The Breakfast Club, insisting, I don't orchestrate lives, I document them. What happened was unfortunate, but it was never planned. Yet her calm smile did little to quiet suspicions. The scandal was now bigger than the cast, it was eating at the foundation of the franchise itself. The reunion special Part 2 was chaos incarnate. The cast sat under bright lights, the tension unbearable. Rasheeda refused to sit next to Kirk, her body angled away. Jock sat hunched, his eyes heavy, while Jasmine trembled, tears already falling. Carly leaned back smugly, enjoying the fire she had stoked. The moderator asked Jock directly, do you accept responsibility as the father now that the truth is out? Jock's voice cracked as he said, I accept it. I'll step up, but I can't erase the pain this caused. I can only move forward. The audience booed, fans shouting, too late. Rasheeda snapped. Step up. You had your chance to step up when Jasmine was pregnant, when she was unsure. You chose silence. Silence is what destroyed us. Jasmine broke down, sobbing. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to trust. And now everybody hates me. Her words were drowned out by Rasheeda's fury. You made your choice when you climbed into my marriage. Don't play the victim now. The crowd erupted in applause, Rasheeda's voice cutting through the noise like a knife. Kirk finally spoke, his voice shaking. I don't know how to fix any of this. I don't know if it can be fixed. But I do know I've lost the love of my life. And maybe that's the punishment I deserve. He looked at Rasheeda, his eyes pleading. She didn't flinch. The cameras caught the cold distance between them, a silence louder than any argument. The episode ended with a teaser. Next season, the fallout continues. Fans were left breathless, hungry for more. But for the cast, the pain was no act. It was real, raw, and inescapable. The scandal had become legend. Atlanta was no longer just a backdrop, it was a battleground. Friendships shattered, marriages destroyed, reputations burned. Rasheeda emerged as the warrior queen, Jock as the fallen clown, Jasmine as the villain, and Kirk as the broken man. But the biggest twist wasn't the DNA. It was the realization that fame itself was the cruelest liar of all. And in the quiet after the cameras shut off, Rasheeda whispered words that would echo far beyond Atlanta. The truth don't set you free. The truth just shows you who was willing to chain you in the first place. The saga wasn't over. It would never be over. Because in Atlanta, secrets never die, they just wait for the next season. The weeks after the reunion brought no calm. If anything, the scandal grew darker, uglier, and more permanent. Atlanta's streets were heavy with gossip. Every club promoter, every hairstylist, every Uber driver seemed to have an opinion. What had once been just reality TV was now living, breathing chaos that nobody could escape. Rasheeda moved differently now. She was quieter, sharper, and more guarded than ever before. She stopped posting personal details, stopped letting fans peek behind the curtain. Her Instagram became curated and professional boutique updates. Makeup lines, music promotions, but no more smiling family selfies. Fans noticed, she's not the same Rasheeda. One comment read. Another wrote, she's protecting her peace now. Behind closed doors, she admitted to her sister, I can't let anybody see me bleed again. If they want to think I'm cold, let them. Cold keeps me alive. Her pain had hardened into armor. Kirk wandered through the ruins of his life. He had become the one thing he feared most. Irrelevant. Where once paparazzi chased him, now they barely cared. Clubs that once booked him for appearances, ghosted him. When he tried to call Rasheeda, she rarely answered. In one heartbreaking moment, caught by cameras, he left a voicemail that played like a confession. Rasheeda, it's me. I just wanted to say I'm sorry again. For all of it, for the lies, the hurt, the wasted years. I know you're better off without me, but I still love you. Always will. The voicemail leaked online. Fans torn between sympathy and scorn. Some wrote, Kirk finally humbled, while others laughed. Too little, too late. Jock's fall was brutal. Memes of his crying face still circled daily. Late-night comedians joked about him needing a family reunion to count his children, and fans mocked him relentlessly. His radio interviews dried up, promoters hesitated to book him, and even his music streams dipped. But the deepest cut came from his kids. His oldest daughter went live on Instagram, her voice shaking as she said, It's hard watching your dad embarrass you on TV, over and over. We don't deserve this. Jock watched the clip alone, tears streaming, whispering, I failed y'all. I failed all of y'all. The laughter that once defined him had turned into silence that filled every room he entered. Jasmine was broken beyond recognition. She barely left her apartment, curtains drawn tight, food delivered by friends. I can't even go to the store without people calling me names. She cried to her mother, I'm scared to leave the house. The hate was endless, and she found herself questioning everything. Did I ruin my life chasing something that wasn't even real? Was it worth it? Her mother gave no comfort. This is the bed you made. Now you lie in it. Jasmine's sobs echoed into the night, the sound of a woman who had become a ghost in her own city. Carly read, ever the opportunist, thrived in the ashes. She launched a podcast called Receipts with Carly, promising uncut tea and truths they don't want you to know. Her first episode teased new claims that another cast member might have played a role in covering up the DNA swap. That money had exchanged hands in more than one direction, that the real mastermind was still hidden. Fans flocked to her show, even those who hated her, desperate for more crumbs of chaos. Carly might be messy, one fan wrote, but she always right in the end. Mona Scott faced fire from every direction. Networks questioned her. Fans dragged her. Cast members accused her. In one explosive behind-the-scenes moment, Rasheeda confronted her directly. "You made me bleed for ratings. You let my life burn so you could have your show." Mona.com but sharp replied, "Your pain gave you power. Look at you now, bigger than ever." Rasheeda's face hardened. "If power means losing everything that mattered to me, then I don't want it." The clip went viral, fans praising Rasheeda's strength and demanding Mona's accountability. As the dust settled, new rumors swirled. Blogs whispered about other secrets, hidden affairs, financial scandals, even medical records suggesting the DNA drama might not be finished. What if Jock isn't the father either? One headline teased. Fans debated furiously online, theories spiraling out of control. The city buzzed with suspicion. Who else was involved? What more was hidden? Rasheeda prepared for life after Kirk. She met with lawyers quietly, protecting her businesses, her assets, her brand. "I worked too hard to let a man's scandal take it all," she said firmly. Jock tried to rebuild bridges with his kids, showing up at games, sending gifts, apologizing over and over. Some forgave him slowly, others refused. Jasmine considered leaving Atlanta altogether, whispering to a friend, "I don't belong here anymore." And Kirk. He simply faded, his voice growing quieter each day, his presence shrinking into the background. The DNA scandal had scorched everything in its path. Marriages ended, reputations burned, friendships fractured, but it also left scars deeper than fame or television. Scars that would shape every decision, every relationship, every headline for years to come. And just when everyone thought the story had finally burned itself out, Carly dropped another teaser on her podcast. "Y'all think Jock's the daddy. Baby, you ain't ready for the real father." The world held its breath once again. The streets of Atlanta pulsed with an energy that was no longer excitement but obsession. Everywhere you turned, people were dissecting the DNA saga like it was scripture. Beauty shops became courtrooms, barbershops became gossip hubs, and even church pews carried whispers of who betrayed who and who might still be lying. The cast of Love and Hip Hop could not breathe without cameras, fans, and critics pulling them apart. This was no longer just entertainment, it was history in the making. A scandal so large it blurred the line between reality and spectacle. Rasheeda carried herself like a queen cloaked in grief. When she walked into her boutique, customers stood straighter, speaking softer, as though in the presence of royalty. They offered hugs, tears, and endless words of support. Yet when the doors closed and silence took over, her armor cracked. One night, she sat in her office staring at divorce papers, hands trembling over the dotted line. Her reflection in the glass window whispered her fears back at her. "If I sign, I lose the man I built my life with. If I don't, I keep living in the shadow of humiliation." Her heart broke all over again, but her resolve grew harder. She would not let anyone, not even Kirk, control her future again. Kirk's fall was pitiful. He haunted the empty halls of his home like a ghost, calling Rasheeda only to be sent to voicemail. His children kept their distance, tired of carrying his sins. Alone in the dark, he confessed to a friend over the phone, "I thought I was in control all these years. Turns out, I was just another fool on someone else's stage." His voice cracked with despair. "I lost her, and even if I didn't cheat this time, I lost her all the same." The world mocked him. Memes plastered his face under captions like "Karma comes for us all." But what hurt more than the laughter was the silence in his house. No family dinners. No laughter. No Rasheeda. Jock was drowning under the weight of fatherhood, scandal, and humiliation. The memes never stopped. His face crying at the reunion became a symbol of downfall, and late-night hosts turned his pain into punchlines. His fiancée Kendra was gone, his kids pulled back, and his career slowed to a crawl. In one devastating scene, he sat in his car outside Kendra's house, clutching a bouquet of flowers. When she opened the door, her face cold and sharp, he whispered, "I'm not asking for your hand back. I'm just asking for forgiveness." She stared at him for a long moment before saying, "Forgiveness don't mean I forget. And I'll never forget the humiliation you put me through." She shut the door, leaving him shattered on the porch. Fans replayed the clip endlessly, labeling it the moment Jock broke for real. Jasmine's isolation was complete. Once the young woman who brought Atlanta to its knees with a scandalous love triangle, she was now a pariah. Strangers hurled insults at her in grocery store aisles. Paparazzi shoved cameras into her face while shouting cruel questions. One night, she cried to her mother, "I can't walk outside. I can't breathe. They don't see me as a person anymore, they see me as a villain." Her mother's reply was blunt, "That's what happens when you play with fire, baby. The city always remembers who lit the match." Jasmine buried her face in her hands, knowing no apology, no explanation, could ever erase her role in the chaos. And then came Carly Red. Thriving in the fire, she launched a podcast that pulled in millions of views. On an episode that broke the internet, she teased, "Y'all think this story done, baby? The real tea just brewing." She waved what looked like more receipts, suggesting that even the DNA reveal wasn't the end. "What if I told you Jock might not even be the daddy?" She purred into the microphone. The audience erupted online, fans screaming into comment sections. Could it be true? Was there yet another twist hiding under the rubble? The speculation was wildfire, and Carly poured gasoline on it daily. Mona Scott was cornered. Networks grilled her, sponsors threatened to pull out, and cast members accused her of orchestrating the pain for ratings. Rasheeda, in particular, unloaded on her in a behind-the-scenes confrontation. "You used me," she spat. "You let me bleed so your cameras could eat. You knew something was off, and you let me suffer." Mona kept her composure, replying smoothly, "Rasheeda, you're bigger than you've ever been. Your brand, your voice, your power, none of it would exist without this story." Rasheeda's glare was sharp as steel. "Then I'd rather be small and happy than big and broken." The exchange leaked online, sparking a firestorm. Fans demanded accountability, some even calling for the show's cancellation. But ratings told another story. The more people hated the scandal, the more they watched. The second part of the reunion exploded even bigger than the first. Under bright lights, the cast sat across from one another like enemies in a courtroom. Rasheeda in white, symbolic of rebirth. Jock in black, his eyes downcast. Jasmine trembling, makeup streaking with tears. Kirk silent, shoulders slumped in shame. And Carly, glowing, ready to stir. The moderator asked Jock the question the world demanded. "Do you accept responsibility now that the truth is out?" Jock nodded slowly, his voice hoarse. "I accept it. I'll be a father. I'll step up." The audience booed. Rasheeda shot back. "Step up now. Where was this when it mattered? You stepped up too late." Her fury cut him to pieces. Jasmine tried to speak through her tears. "I didn't know. I never wanted this." But Rasheeda silenced her with one brutal line. "You didn't want it. Then why'd you do it?" The crowd gasped, and Jasmine collapsed into sobs. Carly smirked, tossing her hair. "Somebody always lying, baby, and it ain't me." The episode went viral instantly. The hashtags, #justice for RASHEEDA, and #JOC, exposed climbing to #1. Off camera, the fallout grew darker. Jock's children refused to film, citing embarrassment. Rasheeda began meeting with divorce lawyers quietly. Jasmine shut down her social media entirely. And Kirk disappeared for days at a time. Friends saying he was drinking heavily, drowning in regret. Carly, however, only grew louder, promising more revelations on her podcast. "This ain't the end," she teased. "Y'all gonna be gagging when the real truth comes out." Then the bombshell hit. In a leaked clip from Carly's show, she claimed new documents revealed that the first DNA swap was funded directly by production to keep ratings high. "The whole thing was a setup," she said. "Somebody made sure Kirk's name was on that test to keep the storyline alive." Fans went wild. If true, it meant the Frosts' marriage had been tormented for years, not by truth, but by manufactured lies. The backlash was massive. Hashtags like #CancelLHHATL and #ExposeMona trended for days. The cast demanded answers, but the network stayed silent, knowing silence only fueled curiosity. Rasheeda's brand, ironically, flourished in the storm. Fans saw her as a phoenix, stronger with each blow. Her boutique sales tripled, her Instagram followers skyrocketed, and brands lined up to work with her. Yet in her heart, she felt empty. What's success without peace? She whispered one night. The cameras caught the moment, her voice breaking, her eyes hollow. Fans cried with her, the moment replayed millions of times. Jock, however, faced the opposite. His career slowed to a crawl. Shows cancelled. Appearances dried up. Even his jokes fell flat. Atlanta had no laughter left for him. He confessed to a close friend, "I've been the clown my whole life. Now I'm just the fool." His words echoed like a dirge. The death of his public persona. Jasmine considered leaving Atlanta altogether. Friends whispered she was looking at apartments in another state, desperate for escape. "I can't rebuild here," she told one confidant. "Every corner, every face, every headline, it's all a reminder." But whether she left or stayed, the stain of the scandal would follow her forever. And Kirk, once the most infamous villain, was now invisible. He stayed silent, off-camera, broken. Some said he was planning a tell-all book, others claimed he was in therapy. Whatever the truth, his absence was louder than his presence had ever been. As the season closed, The final scene showed Rasheeda standing on her porch at sunset, her voice soft but sharp. "The truth didn't set me free," she said. "The truth just showed me who is willing to chain me. But I'm breaking those chains now." The screen faded to black, fans screaming online. It was the perfect ending but also the perfect beginning for whatever twist might come next. Because in Atlanta, secrets don't die. They wait, they whisper, and when the cameras roll, they explode. The DNA saga tore through Atlanta like a hurricane, leaving nothing standing in its path. Families were broken, friendships shattered, reputations burned to ash. Rasheeda rose from the wreckage, scarred but stronger, refusing to be silenced by betrayal. Kirk faded into the shadows, a man stripped of his power and left with nothing but regret. Jasmine became the city's cautionary tale, her name forever tied to scandal. And Jock, once the clown who brought laughter to every room, was reduced to tears, his mistakes carved into history. But even now, the questions remain. Who orchestrated the first DNA swap? Was it a desperate attempt by Jasmine, a calculated move by Jock, or a cold-blooded decision by production itself? Did Mona know more than she admitted? And most haunting of all are, there's still secrets waiting to explode. In Atlanta, the truth is never final. It twists, it hides, it waits in the dark until the moment it can strike again. Fans are still stunned, emotions still raw, the family still divided. The saga has become more than a storyline, it is a legend, a scar carved into reality TV forever. And if history tells us anything, it's that this won't be the last time Atlanta shakes the world with its secrets. So now the question turns to you. Do you believe Jock really knew from the beginning? Do you think Jasmine was innocent or playing the biggest game of her life? And will Rasheeda finally break free for good? Or will the chains of the past pull her back in? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this story isn't finished until you decide how it ends. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more jaw-dropping revelations, and ring the bell so you never miss the next bombshell. The drama is far from over.